You're listening to the World's Team Podcast. It's not just America's team, Cowboys Nation. It's the world's team. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
How about them Cowboys?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the World's Team Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Network and sponsored by Cowboys Experience for the ultimate stadium tours, tailgating, everything really. Let's be honest. Cowboys Experience, the whole shebang, Mike, the whole shebang. For the ultimate Cowboys Experience, be sure to go to www.cowboysexperience.com. Use the discount code The World's Team. I am your host, Paul Stewart, and as always, I am joined by my brother-in-arms, the Welsh Dragon himself. You can find him on bloggingtheboys.com, no other than Mr. Mike Poland. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. And what's funny is the Welsh Dragon is also the nickname that Mackenzie Bernadette gave me when we went out with him. It's like trying to do a Welsh accent from a big American was always fun. And his Scottish accent isn't bad either.
Yeah, he tried to do that with me, and I was just like, no. Just no. We love you, Mac. We love you, man. We need to get him on we do need to get him on the show, actually.
He's fun. He's funny.
Yeah, he's a great guy to hang about with, especially on a night out. But anyways, one more night to go, Mike. One more.
We're there, baby.
We're it's literally in our grasp. But a lot has happened since our last episode.
Yeah.
A lot.
And
few things could be implicated in some way, how it could affect the draft also. I mean, well, first off, outside of the Cowboys, the New York Giants have acquired the 10th overall pick by trading Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals, which could not affect the Cowboys in terms of the draft. It might force their hand to maybe move up, or might actually force them to kind of like maybe more down the order. We just don't know yet. But in great news though, Mike, and I'm really happy about this. Butter Aubrey, Mr. Brandon Aubrey, has finally signed his extension. Finally.
Yeah.
We've got him secured for 4 more years.
And it's quite funny because on the last show we were talking about that no team came up to give him an offer of what he was looking for of over 8, and the Cowboys have secured it. After that, maybe Jerry was watching our show, and and he's signed it. He's certainly a player I think we all felt that needed to be signed.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that guy. I know people talk about the money, but you think, what is the price on hitting 60-yard field goals, or more importantly, game-winning field goals, which we were in attendance for?
Clutch field goals is the most important thing.
How much do you put on that? How much money would you put on that?
It's the fact that I'm willing to pay that type of money for a guy that I can rely on is still going to keep the game alive or win us the game by that fraction. By all means, Brandon Aubrey is that guy. I've lost count how many times he has pulled us out of the woodwork and actually got us the victory where we did not deserve to win. That's a fact. Now, with Aubrey now securing his new 4-year deal, I believe he's now the highest paid kicker in the NFL, I believe.
Yes, I think he is, yeah.
Yep, and with that being said, I know, like you're saying, fans can be saying, oh, why are we paying so much for a kicker? Well, there's multiple reasons why. You need to think about the next up-and-coming guy. They're going to get paid more than Aubrey, maybe in 2 years' time. Just how the market is. The market is going to keep going up, 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 and up. The fact that we've got him now for 4 more years is a godsend. It really, truly is. And like I just kind of mentioned earlier, the guy's an absolute machine. He's missed 1 or 2 field goals this year, but when the chips are all down the line, take the New York game last year where we went into overtime. Brandon Aubrey, not once, but twice in that game saved us. he put us into overtime, and he secured the winning field goal.
Yeah, and here's the other part. There's a couple of things I'll put is the Eagles game, for instance, at AT&T.
Yeah.
Me and you were having great fun in that one.
Oh, certainly we were, absolutely.
He misses a field goal in the first half, and it all feels like it's all going wrong. We're like, even Brandon Aubrey's missing field goals. This is just not our day. We've flown 3,000 miles for this, and
4,000.
4,000 even, yeah. 1,000 more. Yeah, there's a song there for you, Paul, but I'm not going to do that. But
It's not the Proclaimers, it's 500 miles.
I know, I'm just minding you up because I once spent an off season throwing that song at you nearly every day.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, that was fun. I was enjoying that. But going back to that is the Eagles game. Is he misses the field goal in the first half, and you go, oh, what I think really defines a great kicker is, okay, all kickers will miss a kick at some. They'll miss an extra point. I mean, we've seen one where they miss a very short field goal, not the Cowboys, but another team that misses a field goal and they don't make the playoffs. But what defines a great kicker is to miss. They'll miss some field goal in the first half, taking Brandon Aubrey, but then they'll come out in the second half and make a game-winning field goal. That's a great kicker because they got out of their head, they reset, and they've gone, I can make this. When the pressure is on, and it was in the final seconds of that game, he just went, yeah, nah, don't you worry, I'm solid. That is a stone-cold killer.
It's the fact that you can deal with pressure. That's what you want. Like, remember when we had Brett Maher? Like, I'm going to use him as a good example. When we had to rely, like, when it came to the normal field goals, Brett Maher was good. But when it came to the more clutch moments, the pressure was way too much for Brett Maher. He could not do it. He cost us too many games where we had to rely on him. Like, don't get me wrong, we shouldn't have to rely, like, let's be honest, we should never have to rely on our kicker regardless. Like, just in general, our offense should be putting points on the board. But when the matter of when you do need to rely on your kicker, the likes of Brett Maher could not help us out in those clutch moments where it's like a game-winning field goal. He was just not able to deal with the pressure. Look towards Brandon Aubrey, completely different mindset, different way of approaching it. Guys, like you said, he's an absolute machine, stone cold killer.
Yeah, and another thing as well is interesting is, and I don't think there's a stat on it, but with the new kickoff rules, look how often Aubrey manages to get that ball in the landing zone, but as far back as you can go. That's also important. A kicker who can get that ball in the landing zone on kickoffs and get the kickoff returner to have to make the most distance without taking a knee in the end zone or kicking it at the back.
Yeah.
It's a great way to go. I mean, like, if you can bomb that ball up and land it and drop it in, it's just another chance where something on your kickoff defense can get down there and cause something to happen.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. Like, it's the effort from Brandon Aubrey when it comes to these kickoffs. Like, it doesn't take a big run up or anything. It looks more like a chip shot. Like in terms of soccer terms, you're more or less chipping the ball, but obviously with the power behind that leg of his, it just really elevates and really goes for that distance. So, but yeah, I don't know about you, mate, but I am over the moon. I really am. I'm glad he's here for the next 4 years. We've secured that. We don't need to worry about the kicker situation for the foreseeable future. Well, after 4 years, obviously, but either way, I'm happy, man.
Yeah, we said all off season it was we want Jadeveon Clowney, we want Javonte Williams, we want Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
So they've secured 2 out of the 3 that we were looking for.
Yeah. And speaking about securing, Mike, and this is a great segue to what we're about to talk next. So we're talking about positives there. The negative side is George Pickens is going to be playing in the franchise tag. So Jerry and Steven have came out and said basically negotiations have just never really materialized. It's kind of went stone cold dead. Yeah. And Pickens is going to be playing under the franchise tag. Now, my question to you, Mike, is what does this mean? And can this lead to other teams now look to pursue into looking more into George Pickens, knowing the fact that he's not going to get extended?
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that so the two sides here is A, they haven't come to a long-term negotiation. They haven't decided to go for it. That is a big tell. That tells you something along the lines of what they were trying to do hasn't worked. They haven't got to the right level of communication to do it, which then leads to the second point, that he's on a franchise tag. But what is to tell you that Pickens will actually play the season on the tag? Like, he's betting on himself at this stage. He gets an injury, that's next year or 2027 pretty much done. But so he's protecting himself, and to be honest with you, I don't see him playing on the franchise tag. I just don't see it. If he's not come to a long-term discussion, negotiation with the Cowboys and looking to sign, it's kind of like a telling already. The tea leaves are telling you where his head is at for the future.
I think this is definitely more worse for George Pickens, and I'll tell you why, Mike. So, if Pickens decides not to play underneath the tag, right, which is fair enough, it's under his own right, but it's going to send another message to other teams as well. Right? It will get to that point where, okay, well, if you're not willing to pay, then we'll just cut you. And when it comes to these other teams, they've seen what's just happened with Pickens, his agent, David Mulgeta, and with the Cowboys. They'll be like, yeah, we don't want to deal with him. So he might be without a team for the next couple of years, if that's the case. So there is that possibility as well. So if I was George Pickens, I would play and get your money. Because the way things are, because there's no teams coming in right now unless they do make a trade in for him as of this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky really to know because we don't know exactly where both sides, both on Jerry's side and Pickens' side, like what the plans are. We don't have any clue. You would think that the smartest plan would be to do the trade like before the draft, but there's nothing to say that it won't happen during.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling personally that if there is any sort of trade that's going to happen, it's going to be, and I know it's kind of useless, but it's going to be after the draft.
Kind of what we did last year with Pickens.
Yeah, and then it'll be after the draft, maybe during camp, and it'll be something then that works towards 2027.
Which is not ideal, because it would actually, like, that would be the worst situation for us going into this season. The fact that if we were to do something like that, then we're a wide receiver down.
Yes, effectively. But what the biggest tell will be is if they take an outside wide receiver with one of the first 3 picks. Like, say in the 3rd round, they take Bryce Lance from North Dakota State. Good example there in the 3rd round. You're like, well, we know what that's about then. That is so they're covering themselves, ready for a post-draft trade.
I may be playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but I may have way too much faith in Ryan Flournoy. I think he could elevate up to be that number 2. Me personally, I think he can, given the opportunity. Obviously, he had to compete against the likes of Lamb and Pickens, and obviously we're still dumbfounded by the decision of having Jalen Tolbert in the roster last year. That's still a mystery to that one.
I hated that so much.
I think we all did.
I hated the Tolbert thing. It killed me.
Yeah. I think it killed us all, Mike. But speaking about likes of trades and stuff like that, again with Jerry and Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, they've also kind of came out and said they are very open to trading whether it's going to be moving up or going to be moving down in the draft. Now, I've seen a lot of mixed reports, a lot of like chatter, like from ESPN's panel, you name it, NFL Network, Adam Schefter, you name it. They're talking about maybe moving up to 4, moving up to 3, moving up to 6 with the Browns. Like, I'm just like, okay, it's a wee bit wishy-washy right now, but I think it really does depend how the board falls down. It depends what the first 2 picks are. I think that will kind of determine what happens. Because I think it might be safe to say pick number 4 could be Jeremiah Love going to the Titans. But there is reservation on that one, Mike, because if Jeremiah Love does get picked at number 4, and this is the crazy part, he would actually be one of the highest paid running backs in the league. As a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, that's
No, not as a rookie, but overall.
Yeah, I mean, that's the running back position, the way the CBA works on positioning and paying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is going to happen anyway, you know, going to happen with a few positions. But, I mean, Jeremiah Love, I like Love. I mean, what he did in Notre Dame over the last 2 seasons really is nothing short of incredible. Like, I had reservations of top running backs. For instance, like last year, everybody was all over like the narrative of things, but I had reservations, and you know, with Love, I have a lot less. Like, you know, the volatility of the position always means you've got question marks on how long they can survive. But Love he's already there. I'm more impressed with him as an RB1 than I have in recent years, which included last year with the likes of Ashton Jenney.
Yeah. I mean, like you kind of stated, running back is definitely one of the most volatile positions. It's the most wear and tear of any position, I would say, because they're the ones that's taking all the hits on the ground from defensive linemen to linebackers, and if they're moving upfield, they'll get clattered by safeties and corners and that. So you're getting it from all aspects of the defense as a running back, more than quarterbacks by a long mile.
By a mile.
But back to the original question, Mike, with the Cowboys potentially moving up. Can you see that happening?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk odds in a moment. I know we've been looking at them from FanDuel, but I have the odds, which is really... when we get into it, I'll give you what they have the odds at for the Cowboys trading up, which is extremely interesting.
Well, obviously, when we're kind of looking at all the trade-up options, like, if we're trading up, to me, it's whether there's certain particular players that are going to be available. One, I can imagine, obviously, would be Sonny Styles. That's the most obvious. Now, I was kind of debating this with Brian and Graham and Jamie on the UK Cowboys fans. It's like, what about David Bailey? Like, there is the possibility of David Bailey.
David Bailey, or even Ruben Bain. Either.
I don't think Ruben Bain would be the one. Obviously, with don't get me wrong, I think Bain is an absolute unit. I think he would be a great fit for the team. But say at pick 6, then yeah. But if we're moving up to maybe 3,
oh yeah, I think 3 is going to be, if you're moving up to 3, that's Downs or Styles. That's all it is.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all it would be.
And obviously there's other talks of us trading back, because in case of the result of potentially if the first 4 picks we get completely wiped out, then it kind of derails things. Then you need to go to plan B. Yeah. Now, I mean, what are your thoughts, Mike? Do you think the Cowboys? Well, obviously, you think the Cowboys will trade up, but what about the possibility of trading down? Because remember, we do not have a second rounder
Yeah.
at all this year.
I think if they do trade down, it's going to be more with the 20th pick as opposed to 12.
Yeah,
Because even at 12, if you think this type of you're expecting quarterback, there is a possibility you could see two quarterbacks going in the top 10. And I know that sounds absolutely nuts, but if you're a quarterback hungry team and you don't want to lose your chance on getting an Alabama quarterback, then you kind of like, okay, you have to overpay for it, but at least you solidify a position of need rather than it escape you. So there's a chance that happens. But you're certainly going to get, we talked about Jeremiah Love, you're going to get at least one wide receiver, you're going to get at least one offensive tackle. So you think trading down from 12 because you're going to be wiped out, I can't see it, because there's always going to be options. I think what this is coming down to is the fact that people said, oh, Mansour Delane's gone, so you got German McCoy from Tennessee, the other cornerback there. What's happened in the last 24 hours is there's talk that McCoy needs to have surgery on his knee again. Not because of the ACL injury or nothing, but it's a cartilage issue that he's got. And it's to clear the knee, clean the knee, get it clear, and off he goes.
yeah. He's off the board then when it comes to the first round then, if that's the case.
I think this is where some of it's coming down to, because McCoy was always your safety blanket at 12, where you go, well, we can get this absolute star of a lockdown corner who's not just an able and willing tackler, he is aggressive when it comes to it. So you always had him there. With the medical question mark floating around with him now on that, you kind of go, yeah, okay, so he has an so we lose him for 6 months. Yeah, maybe even the year.
It reminds me of Siobhan Revell.
Yeah.
Like a guy that was projected to be a first rounder falls down all the way down to the third round. Can that be the case for Jeremy McCoy? Who knows?
If it is what I've seen is true, and I checked on, because there's a medical guy that talks about the NFL. I went and checked on it, and he's saying, no, this is absolutely correct. This is what's being looked at. Medically, he's totally sound, but in order to create longevity for his career, he needs this surgery just to clear cartilage and scope the knee and all the rest of it. That being the case, kind of puts him into the second round now.
Yeah, folks, let us know your thoughts about the possibility of trading up or trading down. We would love to hear your opinions on this. Okay, but the next thing I do want to talk about, and it's with pleasure by our good guys at FanDuel. They have provided us the sports betting odds for the Dallas Cowboys 12th pick and the 20th pick. So as it stands right now, Ruben Bain is likely to be the favourite at plus 600. Then it's Monster Delane at plus 700. Dylan Tinneman at plus 950. Caleb Downs plus 950, which I thought was quite interesting. I would, if it was me, I would put a sneaky wee bet on that if that's the case. Because like our good friend Zach Wilcher, I think he's one of the best players in this draft. It's just because he's a safety.
Safety is the position. Yeah.
Yep. And finally, Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. Now, I don't know about you, Mike, but I mean, Downs, Bain, Delane, that's one of the options for me. But depending on what we do with George Pickens, I could see the idea of us going wide receiver, because we've done it before. We did it with CD Lamb.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure you would take a wide receiver at 12, 20. I'm okay, depending on what they do with their 12th pick.
Yeah. So speaking about the 20th pick,
go for it.
So now, this is where I'm getting a bit ugh. So Kedrick Falk is the favourite at plus 420. Akeem Misador at plus 550. Malachi Lawrence is in there at plus 950. He would be my guy at 20, I would say, out of these names so far. Jeremy McCoy, 1100. TJ Parker, 1200 plus. And Dylan Tinneman, his name is popped up again at plus 1700.
Now, here's an interesting one. Look at the odds of all of those, right? So, Ruben Bain plus, what was he, 600, I believe, is the favorite of pick 12.
Yep, plus 600, yep.
So, their odds on the Cowboys trading up specifically to pick 6. Do you know what the odds on that are?
Minus 200.
It is plus 350.
Wow.
So the odds, the favorite of all the odds for not just pick 20, but pick 12 as well.
I keep messing up. I keep forgetting about the whole UK way of betting compared to the US way.
I know.
It's always a plus, I believe.
Yeah.
Because you can't owe money when it comes to betting unless you lose.
Yeah. Although, I mean, we get odds over here that instead of 2-1, go 1-2, and you're like, and you're like, oh, you just get half the money. But it's plus 350. So FanDuel and their odds book are saying that okay, at pick 12, our best option is Ruben Bain at 600, but at 350 plus 350, they're trading up at 6. So they're saying Cowboys are trading up to specifically to pick 6.
So trading with the Cleveland Browns is the favorites.
Yeah, and what's more interesting is their odds to trade up into the top 10. So not specifically pick 6, but in the top 10 plus 180.
Jeez.
So they're pretty much saying Cowboys are going up somewhere in the top 10 regardless. This is what we're saying.
Yeah, the odds makers think this is the most likely case. Yeah.
They're going in the top 10. Specifically, it was a plus 350 at pick 6.
Yeah, very interesting, Mike. Yeah, but folks, let us know in the comments. Let us know on our social medias what you guys think about these betting odds. Do you think Ruben Bain would be the guy at 12? Or possibly moving up for him? We don't know. This is the whole exciting thing about the NFL draft, Mike. There's that big anticipation of you just don't know what's going to happen. And it's not just for the Cowboys, it's the other teams as well. Like, there's going to be no doubt going to be absolute chaos when it comes to a particular quarterback called Ty Simpson. That's guaranteed going to happen. Whoever's going to make the move or make the pick, it's going to ruffle a few feathers, that's for sure.
I think that with that one, with obviously your QB2 in there, I like Simpson. I think he's interesting, but there's a chance a team just gets too trigger happy, too nervous about losing that chance and goes early. Because really, when you think about it, is QB1, QB2. Then you look at QB3 and beyond, and you're like, eh. So if you don't, we know obviously what's happening with the first pick. It's pretty much a dead cert.
Yeah.
It's where a team gets too nervous with QB2.
Yeah. And this is where I think Arizona might trade back and get a quarterback as well.
It's possible.
There is that. Because obviously they could pick up Avril Reese, they could add more pieces to their defense, or David Bailey, whoever that may be, but it's not going to help their offense in any way, shape, or form. You could trade back, get before it even hits the Jets and the Steelers, etc. You could trade back with the Cowboys at 12 and get Simpson there. There is that, but with us moving up from 12 to 3. Then the compensation is not as lucrative for us. Like if we were to do the trade with the Browns, obviously we would swap. Like we would be basically directly giving them we would get pick 6 and their second rounder for our 2 firsts. That would be the trade essentially.
Yeah.
And if you were to and in terms of hindsight for if we were to trade up with the Chiefs, we would swap first round picks and we would probably end up picking up an additional third at best. Probably even probably just a fourth rounder. Just depends. But you would be guaranteed swapping the 2 first rounders if that was the case. Man, it's almost there, Mike. It's almost here.
Yeah. Well, should we get on before the day one draft? Should we come on and do a last minute mock draft?
Yeah, and we'll do it live as well. Yeah, let's do that. So tomorrow, folks, at 10 p.m. in the UK, which will be 4 p.m. Central Time, we'll be going live doing our final mock draft, which will be available on YouTube and on X. So be sure to join us. Let us know your thoughts and opinions about the upcoming draft with hours before. Right after we do our mock draft, you can join me and Mike on the UK Cowboys fans live stream also, where we'll be having special guests from Cowboys media, Cowboys content creators, and all of the above. So be sure to join us there, have a lot of fun, as we will be broadcasting live and during the draft and have our instant reactions during that process. So we would love to have you all involved. All right, Mike, that's the end of this episode. Anything else you want to say?
And the only thing I want to say is well, there is something I want to say is let me think. Let the first pick be Sonny Styles.
That would be amazing. But my selfishness, as much as I love Sonny Styles, that means I'll be missing out on Jacob Rodriguez.
What if they double dipped in the first round at linebacker?
Well, I would lose my mind if that was the case.
Linebacker is a huge need.
Yeah, we just don't know. There's a lot of ways we can go about this, but again, this is probably one of the drafts I feel like it's clear as day what the positions of need are, but you just don't know what direction we're going to go based on how other teams are going to play going into this draft. So. But, all right, that is the end of this episode, folks. Like we said, we will be live tomorrow, 10 p.m. in the UK, 11 p.m. in mainland Europe, 4 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to join us as me and Mike will be doing our final mock draft, and you can join us 15 minutes before on the UK Cowboys fans live stream, where me and Mike and various special guests will be joining us. Be sure to join in the fun as we'll be covering the draft live and having our instant reaction for every single pick of day one, and we'll also be doing day 2 and day 3. And just to add as well, for the World's team, we'll be doing our recap shows based on every round, so be sure to join us on that. So
we've got a busy few days.
We do, mate. We certainly do. But other than that, Mike, please tell everyone where everyone can find you on socials.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K. And you, Mr. P.
I am P Stu on X and Instagram. All right, folks, that's the end of the episode. Draft day is upon us. Be sure to go and watch the movie Draft Day before the draft actually starts. That seems to be the tradition now.
Yeah.
Fonte Matt, no matter what, you know. But
plenty of Kevin Costner in before the draft.
Absolutely. Just don't be the Browns and do silly stuff like that.
Nah.
You know. But anyway, we hope you have a wonderful time. We hope for you guys would join us tomorrow and join us on the UK Cowboys fans. But other than that, as always here on the World's team, it's not just America's team. It is the World's team. We'll see you guys next time.
That's a wrap on the World's Team Podcast. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, Cowboys Nation. This ain't just America's team, it's your team. Touchdown! It's the World's Team, only on Believe, where real fans live.
How about them Cowboys?